Hi, welcome to the Lisa Saunders Show. I'm Lisa Saunders, and today I have somebody I'm really excited to interview because she represents a spot that I always go to with my dog at least once or twice a week. So, who are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm Deb Neuman, and I work at Enders Island.
Now, Enders Island is something that captured my imagination when I first moved to Mystic in 2010. My very first friend that I met, her name's Bambi Popick. I met her at the, I forget what you call it in Connecticut, but where you get your driver's license.
Right, the DMV.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm standing there online, and we started talking, and then we became really good friends online, because you know how you're standing there for hours.
Right.
And I told her about my dog, and so she likes dogs, so she liked me because I had a dog. And she says, one place you need to go to is Enders Island, and a lot of people don't realize that the general public can go there. And so I looked it up. I couldn't figure out where is Enders Island because I barely knew Mystic. We had just moved there. And I don't know if I looked it up. I think maybe I Googled it, found your website. I figured out finally, because your place is so secret and tucked away. But I just pressed on, learned how to get there, and my dog and I absolutely loved it. And it's very stressful because we had just moved here, and so you know how it is, moving into a house, trying to get your Wi-Fi to work, and you know, all those things. And I brought my husband there that weekend, and we just sat there, decompressed, and I remember interviewing. I remember interviewing somebody at Enders Island about it because I was writing an article, The 7 Wonders of Mystic. And I said, is it okay that I'm not Catholic and I come here all the time? And he said, absolutely. And there was it was even on your website about, you know, not a Catholic, no problem. I don't know if you still have that wording on your website.
I think something like it. We welcome people of every faith. And we do. I don't know exactly that wording, but it's
so
I just
felt welcome, and the gardens are incredible. So I look at it from one point of view as somebody who needs an escape place and a place to walk the dog and a place, you know, because sometimes I bring picnic dinners there and I sit there in your gardens and I have dinner there. But for what's it really for, other than to give me a place to walk?
Well, in some ways, Lisa, it is for that. But the official answer would be that, you know, Enders Island is, it's considered one of the premier Catholic retreats in the Northeast, and I would say, not that I'm an expert on Catholic retreats throughout the country, probably in the country, maybe even the world. It was founded, actually the island itself, which is an 11-acre island right off of Mason's Island, and it projects into Fisher's Island Sound, was owned by Dr. Thomas and Alice Enders. He saw it when he was sailing off the coast of the island.
Oh, you're telling me stuff I don't know. This is good.
And he fell in love with it. This was like in the 1918, I think.
Wow.
Dr. Enders was one of the scions of one of the Hartford insurance families, and he fell in love with the island, and he knew that it was the place he wanted to bring his new bride, which was his second wife, but the love of his life. And together he purchased the island, and then they built the Enders House Mansion there, and began to build these. She had a vision for the gardens there, which we can talk about a little bit later. To make a long story short, when Alice, right before she died I think it was the late 1950s, she decided that she wanted to give the property to the Catholic Church because she felt that they would take good care of it and preserve this beautiful island and home and gardens in a lovely way. So she deeded it to the Society of St. Edmunds, which is a very small Catholic society of priests, and it was to be used for the purposes of retreat, and at that time to train the priests of Norwich. We don't do that anymore, but really to be used to bring spiritual renewal to people of the Catholic faith. But as we'll talk about, we really, I think, perform that for people of all faiths and even people of no faith.
You absolutely do, because I got a tour of it. I saw you have art where you're learning how to make stained glass, or
yes.
What is that called? Like,
so we do three things really. When all is said and done, we're a nonprofit, and we have three core missions. One is we call our renewal mission, and we do everything from retreats for priests and nuns, but also many, probably more for lay people, spiritual retreats of all kinds. We then also have a program which we'll talk about a little bit. We've been for recovery from addiction, and that takes multiple forms. And then the third thing, which is what you just mentioned, is we run a sacred arts program. So we have courses on calligraphy, on iconography.
What's iconography mean?
So in the Catholic tradition, you know, when you see those beautiful illuminated pictures of saints and others, they're called icons.
Oh, okay.
And so the iconography is the art of drawing and creating those icons. And it's a niche, but it's a niche, you know, in terms of art, artists who do that and people who love that. But we seem to have attracted lots of people who love their beautiful. We'll do week-long workshops in some of these things. We even have had a class on Gregorian chants, which are the, you know, medieval music that you hear, that beautiful chants, and one of the...
Now you have a gift shop that sells very unique things. Do you sell this CD of Gregorian chants? Because I can't picture what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know if we probably do sell some CDs and.
Because I know you
chants.
do, I just don't know what's in them.
Yeah, and for people who don't know that music, it's hard to explain it, and I can't sing, so I'm not going to even try.
Well, one thing I love at your gift shop is your jam.
Yes.
I shop there all the time to buy this jam. My particular favorite is Fire and Brimstone.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't bring it then.
That's okay. It's a hot pepper jelly, and it's just funny because people love when I give it to them as a gift.
Well, this is another thing. You know, we sell these jams, and the jams, and you've got the, I forget what this is, the smelly jelly. Smelly jelly is a garlic and sort of pungent kind of jam.
Now, who makes up these names? Because the names are fun.
Our director of kitchen and volunteers do it, and we actually have contests on Enders. So this is Bye Bye Blackberry.
Okay.
We have the smelly jelly. We have the Fire and Brimstone.
And this is a lot of things that you grow on
the
island.
So all of our jams and jellies are made from fruits and vegetables and that we grow on the island. We have, you know, blackberries and blueberries, and this is garlic and what's in here. Picked, processed, and perfected by Father Tom Hoare, who runs Enders Island.
That's just amazing that you just picture this priest making jam.
Well, and I asked him once, because I've been there a couple of years, and I said, how did this all get started? And so Father Tom has been, he's the president of Enders Island and St. Edmund's Retreat. Many people who from this area, you know, will go to Mass at our beautiful, gorgeous chapel just to hear his homilies, because he's such a great...
And what time, do you remember what Mass, is it 10:30?
Yeah, Mass is at 9.
At 9.
Every morning, 7 days a week.
I went once because we had a Catholic visitor and we wanted to take her there. And it was really
like
stunning to sit there.
It's a beautiful chapel.
I loved it. I loved the message and looking out the window. I'm seeing the sea outside the window. That was really something. And of course, I'm interested always to see St. Edmund's withered arm.
I know. Well, that's our great relic. So that chapel, you know, you wouldn't even, I know I didn't think it was built in 2001. But the stone and the whole design, Father Tom was careful to have it designed to fit architecturally with this beautiful, with all the beautiful stonework in the main house and other buildings. And so, but you're right. I mean, he had it, you know, windows looking out onto the Sound. But yes, we are noted for the relic of St. Edmund. St. Edmund, which is the namesake of the Society of St. Edmunds, was he was the Archbishop of Canterbury in the Middle Ages, and that was why they took his name, the Society of St. Edmunds, for that. But his arm is preserved and resides in our chapel.
Yes.
And there are people.
And I've seen it.
Yeah, and you've
many
seen
times.
it. And there are people, I mean, I'm not one of them, but who travel all over the country and all over the world to look at different relics. So I've had people come up and say specifically because they've heard of and want to see that relic.
And another thing I love about Enders Island is your fish fries. I don't know if do you call them fish fries?
We do.
Okay.
Fish fry.
Because I love that season. Because a lot of times I meet friends like, hey, let's go out Friday night, you know, to get our fish and chips or whatever. But what I like about yours, not only do I not have to wait in line, because you have table service. I go into this gorgeous mansion, sit there, and you also have the choice of potatoes, and you have baked fish. So it's not necessarily, I don't have to get fried fish.
Right.
And I'm looking out these windows, at this stunning view.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not waiting in line. You just have to make a reservation.
You do. So they're during the Lenten season, which is March through April, right up until Good Friday, which is when they start on Ash Wednesday, ends on Good Friday. And, Stonington and Westerly and this whole area, Groton, I mean, there are lots of fish fries, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say ours is the best. For the reasons you mentioned. First of all, the food is great, and we do, offer
Well, I
the
like having
choice.
I like baked potato.
You've got
I
the
like
baked potato,
better,
and baked fish, or you can have the classic, fried everything, and we serve a little dessert with it, which not everybody does. But I think the main thing is, it's more of an occasion because you're seated.
Right, and I
you're
met some really
served.
nice people at my
Yeah.
table. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, but I've got to leave now. The tide's coming in." I'm thinking, why does she care
Yeah.
if the tide's coming in? But she has a house in a low-lying
Oh.
area, and there's a full moon. So it's just funny that when you live here, people actually worry about the
tides. And we do, because sometimes the tides flood right on the outskirts of you come over the causeway and you come
Right.
through the Masons Island Yacht Club and that parking lot. I always know when tides are in and out, because when it's really bad, sometimes you'll get a bit of flooding right there.
Oh, because I've never seen the flooding
Yeah.
whenever I've gone there. And what was funny is because I ended up choosing it as one of the 7 Wonders of Mystic, and I
Yeah.
called it the Hanging Gardens of Enders Island, because I
neat.
wanted to give it a fancy name.
Yeah.
And then that article ended up becoming a book, The Mystic Seafarers Trail,
Right.
which you have in your gift shop. But anyway, what happened is somebody saw my book, I don't know, a year ago in Mystic Diner. They bought it, they were visiting, and she read the 7 Wonders, and she'd grown up here, spending her summers here. She said, I never knew about Enders Island, but what happened was I was on the Sabino last weekend with my husband, and we were just talking to people on the ship, and I happened to mention who I was, my name, and this woman, excuse me, ma'am, you're Lisa Saunders? You wrote Mystic Seafarers Trail? And I said, yeah. She said, oh my gosh, that has completely changed my vacation life. She said, now we come often, and we specifically went to your 7 Wonders, and we even found the dead people you talked about at the graveyard, and we always go to Enders Island now.
Oh, wow.
And she said, we were just there today. We spent about an hour and a half there, and we bought all this jam, and I just thought it was funny that she had no idea about it, and she grew up coming here. And she, like I said, it's changed her life. She said it means so much to us to go there.
That's great. Well, you have to, if you can remember her name, I'd love to know, because I
do. I mean, I have her email.
Yeah, my role there fits my. I love it, because my job is to really get to know people and get engaged with the community, and I love stories like that. And
yeah, no, she doesn't live here. She comes often for
here
vacations.
For vacation.
But
it's
But I'll give her anyway.
yeah,
I'm sure she doesn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to intrude.
I
bump into that all the time. And the thing I would say, so I'm a relative newcomer to Mystic. Also, my husband and I moved here 2.5 years ago. And I had the same experience that you said when we first started talking, which is somebody had said to me, you really need to see Enders Island. Like the day we moved in, we were looking for our house, and I didn't get to it. I didn't even get to it deliberately. I think I may have shared when we first met that I was taking a bike ride just to relax, and I took a left turn instead of a right turn when I was on Masons Island Road, and I ended up at Enders Island. And the rest is history. I started to volunteer and then began to work with them. But it's what you said about that person is the same for me also, and I hear it from so many of our guests and so many of our visitors. It's like, how could I not have known about this place?
Right.
And we all get, I think, a sense of peace and tranquility and renewal just by being there, because you've mentioned the views more than once. Everywhere you are, you're looking at something
You're
beautiful.
hearing the water,
You're hearing
from
the
sound
water
slapping on the stones by the 3-sided chapel, which I go to all the time. I love to go in there and pray. It's just this, it was meant to be a tea house, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
And it's a stone floor with a mantle, and people put very private prayers on there that they're desperate to have answered. And when I walk in there, I feel like I'm on holy ground. I pray for some of those people if I read their prayer, and then I just pray for my own stuff. And I just love it in there. And one time I was laughing because I think I was walking around and I think it looked like a monk, because I'm not used to what those outfits are, but sitting in a chair with his coffee and his And I was just laughing because this is a place for everyone.
It is a place for everyone, and I have a great picture of a few of the sisters, you know, that are walking in their traditional habits. I mean, we don't see
Right.
nuns and priests and monks in the general course of things that
Right.
people may have years ago, but we do. Right now, we have a very young fellow, Brother Agravius. It's always hard for me to pronounce his name. He's actually, I think, from North Dakota, but he's in a monastery in Rome. I mean, he's chosen to be a monk, and not in Rome, out in Italy, but he's staying with us on some kind of sabbatical or special stay for almost a year. Last year, we had Brother Serafino, who's a Korean monk, and he lived with us for
Wow.
a year. And you know, it's wonderful to be surrounded by
And I love
folks
seeing,
like
like,
this.
I don't know, it was a couple months ago, I saw a nun just sitting on the rocks, and she just looked like she was really thinking about the universe. I mean,
Yeah.
I ended up getting a picture of her from behind, but it was
Yeah.
just like this beautiful scene that she's on these rocks with these waves.
Yeah.
I was hoping one wouldn't carry her out to sea.
Carry her out. No, it's a very unique
But
place.
I heard, is this true, that anybody can, like, that you can rent rooms to the general public?
Well,
is that true?
yes and no. Yes, I mean we are very much a retreat. So most of the people who come, they're renting. We have I don't want to call it a residence hall. It's called St. Michael's, and we have, I think, 56 rooms with double beds. And then our Enders house, which is the main mansion, has 6 beautiful rooms that are more like, beautiful old mansion kind of rooms. And we use all of these for people to stay for when they're doing overnight retreats. Now, our retreats are sometimes people will come and just say, I want to do a private retreat. You know, I'm Lisa, and I feel the need to just do some private meditation or with you and your husband or a friend. And you can book a room for that. And, you know, you'll get 3 meals. But we're not a general purpose, place to just rent a room for the night. It's always tied into a purpose like that.
Yeah, because I have people that they're looking for a place just to go and pray for a couple days.
Absolutely.
So they would be the ideal.
They would be the right candidates.
But I notice what I love about it is when I go there, nobody's got a radio on. People don't say hi to me. I don't say hi to them because they could be praying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and there's just a quiet respect for everybody there. You know, because I can just be in my thoughts. I'm walking, but still, everybody's kind of in their own world, and everybody respects that, and it's very quiet. Like, I see people fishing there, and I'll go into the little chapel, and they don't come and say, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, you're right about that.
I get this sense that I can just really be on my own if I want to be. I mean, yeah, sometimes I meet people, they're making eye contact, and they're dying to pet my dog, you know, because they're there walking. But even still, I can sense that they don't want to just run up to me and ask, can they pet the dog?
I think you're right about that.
I think people know, they can sense it, that this is a place that we need to respect people's quiet life right now. Like I said, I've never heard a radio.
You know, it's I haven't either now that you're bringing it up. Father Tom I call Enders Island a hidden gem. You know, you called it one of the 7 wonders, right?
Of mystic.
And I call it like the hidden gem of mystic country. I mean, it's just because those of us who get the benefit of really discovering it. It's like this, it's not so well known. I would like it to be better known, only in the sense of we want to reach more people to be able to experience what we have to offer.
Well, I always bring my family and friends. We get a lot of visitors. Now that we live in Mystic, we're suddenly very popular.
Yeah, I've got the same thing going on.
Everyone comes to visit me, but I always take them there.
That's great.
And my father, when he was dying, he loved it, and he lives in New York, but he's like, Lisa, please make a donation, you know, please bring me one of those stones from the Enders Island. You know what I mean? It was a place he really connected to.
I think everyone does. You know, I have relatives in Israel, and my stepson and his wife and 2 children who were like 4 and 6, 4 and 8, came for a visit, and I brought them over, and you know they had an amazing time. You know, the kid, just an amazing time.
And sometimes, like my mom was just here, we brought our 2 lawn chairs so we could have nice backs.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just come and I sit in the rocking chair in the gazebo.
Right.
Because you have a lot of chairs with backs on them. But this time I wanted her to make sure she had a chair with a back on it right next to the water. So I just bring my lawn chairs, and we just sat there playing Scrabble, at a table with our lawn chairs, and a family biked
That's
over.
nice.
A
Yeah,
mother,
that sounds
father, and daughter, and do you mind if we have our picnic lunch next to you? No, no. You know what I mean? So they biked there. And it's just, like I said, I have so many happy memories.
Yeah. Well,
already.
I'm so happy about that. I mean, the other thing I sometimes like to say is that we are a private nonprofit, but we are there for the public's benefit. And I think that permeates everything that Father Tom has done he's been there almost 25 years.
Now, how can we make sure, because, I occasionally make donations, because like I said, it's not my church, I go elsewhere, but I occasionally make donations because I want to keep this place going.
Yeah.
And plus I just believe, like I said, it's my own little haven.
Right.
My father made donations. How can somebody make donations? You also have fundraiser events. How can people that want to keep those gardens, because your gardens are unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
And even when it's a lousy time of year, it's the stone structures and crazy things you have going on there are still stunning. But this must cost a lot of money.
It does, and the point I would make is we don't get funding. We get we don't get. People sometimes think, well, they're a Catholic thing. We get no funding from the church, and we get no funding from the government. So we support ourselves through nonprofit philanthropy, people making donations, and I'll talk about a couple of ways people can do that. And then our retreats and our workshops, there are fees for those, so that also helps bring in income. But a lot of the things we talked about are ways that help support us, whether it's, buying jams, going to the gift store, buying your book, of which you get, or some of our fundraising events, which I have to say, I think are a lot of fun. I mean, they're one of them. We've got 2 that are coming up, and people can go to the website and look. But one is our annual golf tournament. It's the 14th year that we're doing the Enders Classic.
Do you actually play golf on Enders Island?
No, it's this year. It's often been at the Stonington Country Club. This year, it's going to be at the Elmridge Golf Club, and next year, I won't say where it's going to be, but I think it'll be a fun surprise. That's in September 28th this year. Sometimes it's the first week of October. And then we have a really wonderful event that's also annual. It's called the St. Edmund's Medal of Honor Dinner. And that will be, this year, it'll be October 13th. It's always the second Friday in October. And that event is a serious one because it's meant to honor people nationally, locally, even internationally, who, as Father Tom would say, have lived a life of virtue the way the St. Edmund, our namesake, would want them to. So we look for people who have been great leaders in the community, in business, in the church. They don't have to be Catholic. It could be, it could be a Jewish leader, but people who've really given of themselves. So this year we have locally, we have Michael McQuaid, who's the founder, of McQuaid's Marketplace.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He owned, what is it? There's one in Westerly.
There's one in Westerly. There's one in Stonington, in Mystic, right? Mystic, and then there's a third one in another town in Rhode Island.
He's
going to be honored. And then we've got a wonderful woman named Corinne Kelly, and Corinne has, some of the folks who are listening may have heard of the St. Vincent de Paul place, Soup Kitchen in Norwich, and Corinne has she's not paid staff, she's a volunteer who's just been like an amazing person there. She's also served on the Stonington School Board and many, many things, so she's being honored. So there are 2 local folks.
Yeah.
But we also have Joe Piscopo, the Saturday Night Live comedian.
Really?
Yeah.
Where does he live, in New York?
He's from New Jersey, but he's got a national kind of reputation. And then
what did he? I'm just curious.
For what? Well, aside from it, his acting career is great, and his Saturday Night Live. But he's also been, unbeknownst probably to a lot of people, very involved in the Boys and Girls Club of America and Ellis Island, and he's got sort of a whole range of. He's founded his own foundation to help kids at risk with learning. So we're honoring him for that. And then Bishop Laverty, Paul Laverty, he's a retired bishop who served in Hartford, and he grew up in Pawcatuck. So, and I've left, and there's one more, a Lieutenant Colonel Alan B. West, who is on the national scene, kind of a noted scholar. He was a great, he was in the Army and kind of a hero of the Iraq and Afghanistan.
Wow, really? That's such a
So
comedian, soldier.
all kinds
You know,
of
like,
people.
wow.
And like last year we honored Bob Valenti as an example, you know, for the civic work he's
that
done.
the
The car
dealership? Okay.
Yeah. But this event will be in October, and again, I would say people can attend. They can contribute auction items for some of these things. You know, I'm talking down the road. You know,
Would you like me to donate a book?
Yeah.
Or is that too small?
No, a book would be great.
Okay.
We'll put it into our you know, our auction at this upcoming golf event.
Okay.
The other one, and I know I don't want to stay too much on all the fundraising, but these are fun things. The third one, which will be next year, is our Holy Smoke. This is an annual dinner.
Holy smoke.
It is a cigar dinner.
Oh, see, that's so cute.
It's under the tent. It's on Enders Island. It'll be June, I think, 17th or 16th. It's the Saturday, that second Saturday of Father's Day weekend is when it is. We have a blast. I mean, it's just a great steak and lobster tail dinner. We do give cigars to every guest who attends. You know, some use them, some don't. Great live auction, silent auction, lots and lots of fun. We had 350 people this year, and so these are some of the ways. And anybody who wants to know more, you know, I encourage them to, you know, contact me.
Do you have am I dreaming, or do you have a basket of peanut butter or something you can donate?
We do. Probably you heard at Mass, we asked for contributions for peanut butter for this. It's probably for the St. Vincent de Paul Soup Kitchen, and I forget the time of year that we do that.
So I remember when I come into the chapel, I'll see this big basket.
This big basket, people can give food. Yeah, so we try to give back as much as we can to the community. You know, one thing we didn't talk about as much, we've mentioned it, but the gardens. I think people who come love our gardens.
Stunning.
And I asked our head of maintenance last night, because I want to have the number for you. I said, Dave, how many beds do we actually plant every year? You know, and he said it's about 80 to 90 garden beds that have to get planted.
That's kind of fun. I love fun facts.
Yeah,
So that's a fun fact.
and 30 pots. You know that get put all over. So,
but we only have like a minute left. So I'm glad you brought up the fun facts about the garden, because I don't know if we mentioned how stunning it is.
They're neat. And I would just say a plug for that
it.
then would be volunteers. We could always use volunteers to help our lady, our dahlia lady, Gail, you know, get those dahlias watered.
Okay, I don't know what a dahlia is, but
it's
it must
a gorgeous
be
flower. It's a very special one, and Gail
All right.
does those.
So volunteers can contact
Volunteers
you.
can
People
contact.
can contact you if they want to donate something,
Right.
either for your silent auction or whatever.
Or whatever they want to do.
Or event, or know more about your event. They can go to your website.
And the last thing we didn't get into, but when they go, always remember, we do run a program for young men in recovery from drug and alcohol abuse.
Yes.
And so that's a very important part of what we do. And so if people
That is
feel the need
important,
or
yeah.
need help,
They can
reach
contact
out
you.
and contact us.
Well, thank you so much
Lisa,
for coming
thanks.
on. It
It was so much
fun
fun.
to get some of that
Yeah.
background,
Good.
the back scoop. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Lisa Saunders Show, and I'll see you either at Enders Island or I'll see you next week.